this is where I live, up there. People's first thought is all the stuff they're going to have to give up. What I want to focus in is all the stuff you're going to get. People need to live differently.
So do you use all of these plants in your daily life?
That one I drink every day.
Joe, how long have you been out here for?
50 years. Purchased this land, 2.8 acres. It cost me $800.
How did the locals take you when you first moved out here?
By and large, they're very tolerant. It's kind of a mountain thing to be pretty tolerant of your neighbors. It's like live and let live kind of attitude.
Right.
For many, many years, I'd say my annual income was well under $10,000.
You grow all your own food or a lot of it?
No, a lot of it. We've got land for it, we just don't have the people.
So you're looking for people to come out here?
Absolutely, yeah. Eventually, somebody's going to have to take this place over. I'm 80 years old and my health is not great. So I'm thinking like about an 8-person eco-village, small community situation. This is a project to create what I call a paradise garden, a botanical garden of useful plants grown ecologically and arranged ornamentally. Meaning a beautiful garden where all the plants are pretty much growing by themselves, and I can become sort of a hunter-gatherer in my own garden. I just need to remember where they are and when to get them and so on. I grew up in Detroit. My family moved, and so I came along with the family because free tuition.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went off in the Peace Corps and lived with tribal people in Borneo for about 3 years and suffered significant culture shock when I came back home.
Right.
The culture shock was not going over there. The culture shock was coming back and seeing this glut of stuff that we have. Just walking into a mall and like, you know, 'cause I was so impressed with their lifestyle. I mean, here's people, you're coming out of Detroit where, you know, you don't really do anything except have a job, make money, and fulfill all your needs with your money. Here's people that build their own houses, grow their own food. They're pretty much self-reliant. This is my kind of signature herb, which I think I introduced to America, actually. But I promote it as the best plant to grow for your health. Gynostemma pentaphyllum, Chinese name Jiaogulan.
So do you use all of these plants in your daily life?
That one I drink every day. So one of the ways that was discovered, it was a folk herb. It was not one of the traditional Chinese herbs that's been used for thousands of years. Chinese government started keeping good enough statistics to realize that certain parts of China had an extraordinarily large number of centenarians, people living to be 100 years old. Like, there's way more of them in this part of China. So they went down to investigate, and they're all drinking this stuff and calling it immortality tea.
And this is all your power, huh?
Yeah.
So that gives you everything you need, pretty much, power-wise.
Yeah, well, we have another set of panels out, further out. So here's a chunk of Paradise Garden. Probably at least 100 useful plants in here, edible, medicinal, and so on. Those big giant yellow ones are mullein, excellent for coughs.
Okay.
Yeah, fennel, really good for digestion, and yarrow is good for wounds and so on. Echinacea, everybody knows about.
So what does somebody do, Joe, if they don't have your setup? You just buy supplements?
No, you could do that, yeah, if you're interested. That's how I started. Like I said, I picked up this book sort of randomly called Chinese Tonic Herbs. Read about them, sounded great, so I just ordered some.
Okay.
To start trying them. And I'm like, yes, I want to grow this in my garden. So then that sent me on a long search to botanical, because most of them were not available in America.
Okay.
Looking for trading partners and seed savers exchange and corresponding with botanical gardens in Korea and Japan, and that just led me. Nice thing if you're not trying to make money in your life, which I'm not. I'm one of my goals is to earn as little money as possible without like feeling like I'm suffering or something, you know, not really denying myself anything. I got a little wasabi plant. It took me like 10 years to develop that as a sort of a crop. I never would have had the time or energy to put into that if I had a 9-to-5 job. I never could have done any of this if I had a 9-to-5 job.
So how do you make your money, if you don't mind me asking?
We sell seeds, we sell tinctures, we sell plants.
Okay.
Currently, a lot of my income comes from doing plant walks, educational stuff,
Okay.
teaching. This is where I live, up there.
When did you build that?
About 35 years ago. I've been here 50 years, but that house is about 35 years old.
So is this more of you want to pass your knowledge on to those interested, or you feel like the world needs more of this movement and you want it to really blossom out?
People need to live differently. The way we're living on Earth is destroying the planet. And I think we all recognize that. It's just like in terms of changing to a more successful way of life, how far are you willing to go? You know, when I talk about this stuff, people's first thought is all the stuff they're going to have to give up. Whereas what I want to focus in is all the stuff you're going to get, all the positive stuff. You know this concept of forest bathing?
No.
Heard of that one? In Japan, they got a word for falling dead at your desk. People are just so overworked. So people are being prescribed to do this thing called forest bathing, where you just go out in the woods and kind of meditate and open your senses, your ears, your nose, your eyes, and just absorb this natural energy. Well, you can put a helmet on somebody and measure their brain waves, and it's just a difference of night and day between somebody walking down a city street and somebody walking down a mountain path.
Okay, so you built this by yourself or with anyone?
With friends. There were half a dozen people, sometimes more than that, on work days.
Are these some of the supplements you take every day?
Yeah, these are tinctures I've made for various purposes. There are a lot more of them down in the little herb shop. This was a very fun project.
This is when it originally was built.
This is the original building.
Okay.
Almost all the material came off the land. The biggest machine that's ever been on this land would be a chainsaw. Everything is just hand labor.
Where do you think, and obviously nobody has a clue, as a society where things are heading?
Oh, I think we've got a very, very difficult future coming up. Just merely with climate change. You know, the larger parts of the country are going to become very difficult to inhabit. What are we going to do then, you know? Politically, you know, the one way people are reacting is to become more right-wing. They want somebody in authority to sort it all out for them. It's impossible for the government to fix the problems that are coming along because the problems are caused by the government.
But an argument would be the right wing would say the left wing is authoritarian and they want everyone to figure things out for them.
Yeah, I know.
So each side says the same thing. It's
Sure.
interesting, right?
Yeah. These are tinctures in process.
It's sort of like a canning process, or what is
It's
that?
preserving with alcohol, extracting and preserving with alcohol.
So how long do you do this for?
About a month. Then we squeeze them out and put them in bottles.
Oh. And you're
boosting stuff, antiviral stuff, good for the brain, good for sleep, good for anxiety, good for broken
So
bones.
you're selling this here.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to come here to get
It's
it. Right?
self-service. People come in, get what they want, leave some money.
Oh, great. This is beautiful in here, Joe. This is like a whole nother zone.
I personally am just very drawn to mountains. And mountains are very big in Chinese thinking too, philosophy and medicine as well. If a herb is good for something, it's twice as good if it came out of the mountains.
Okay.
because there's more of this chi energy in the mountains.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Respect how you're living and how you've lived.
This is great.
It's very, very cool to see.
Good.
All right. Thanks for
right.
coming along, guys. Until the next one.